Hey friends, it's John Assaraf, New York Times bestselling author of Having It All and the Answer, and CEO of Praxis Now. Now, this is the third in the series of videos that I've been doing about business growth. And in the first video, we talked about generating leads, qualified leads, so you have an enormous amount of prospects. In the second video, we talked about the need for conversion and a process to take those leads through an emotional process that leads to a logical conclusion to use you in your purchase of their product or service through your company. Now, for this third video, this is probably the third most frequently asked question of me, and what I see is a big problem for most business owners, whether they're doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, artists, coaches, landscape architects, whatever business comes across my way, which is tens of thousands a year. I get a chance to see these problems. And the third one that is consistent amongst most business owners is cash flow. And the thing that you must understand with cash flow is that there are only 3 ways to make more money in business. There aren't 100, there's 3 ways. The first way, obviously, is to gain more customers. And that we've talked about in video 1 and video 2. But one of the things that, or 2 of the things that most business owners rarely focus on is how do they make more money at the time of purchase. Now, you may remember McDonald's when they introduced the do you want to add fries and a drink with your hamburger? That simple question that they taught every one of their people who were at the front lines, at the restaurants, increased their bottom line revenues by a significant amount. And so my question for you is, what are you offering your clients as an upsell or a downsell from whatever it is that you're selling? So if you're selling a product, what other product could they buy with that as a bundle? If you're selling a service, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer, there's always something that you can add to your service or your product that somebody could use as well. And the time that they're most likely to buy something else is when they're in the emotional state of making a decision to buy the first thing. And what I have seen when people use this in their business on a regular basis of saying, oh, by the way, would you like this? You can increase your sales by 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes even 100% when you're asking for that order at the time they're making their first purchase. So you could offer them a continuity program. You can offer them a maintenance program. You can offer them a bundle of some other things that you can sell right at the time they're making that first purchase. That's called an upsell or a downsell. And it doesn't even have to be your own product or service. You can actually do a joint venture with somebody who has a product or service that your clients really want, and bundle that together and share in the revenues. Now, since you're not going to acquire any additional acquisition cost for that customer, then any of the profit on that additional sale is pure profit. So your margins are actually higher on any of the upsells that you make. The third thing that most business owners totally miss is the frequency at which they can get their customers to buy from. And I can't tell you how many companies I go to around the world, or that come to me, where I ask them, great, what do you sell people after they make their first purchase? When do you connect with them for a referral? Most people say, never. When do you ask them to come back in to buy something else? And most companies don't have a repeat purchase plan where it's itemized, organized, and really systematized to get people to buy an extra 1 or 2 or 3 times a year from them. Now, I can share with you one of my chiropractic clients, the Guerin Chiropractic Agency in Wisconsin. They have gotten so good at getting people to come back to their chiropractic office that the average customer comes in 55 times. 55 times. Now, you must be wondering, how is it that they come in 55 times? Well, what they've done in their sales process is at the time that somebody makes a decision to come to them the first time, they set them up on a preventative schedule that keeps them healthy instead of only having them focus on coming in when they're injured. So part of their educational process as being a great chiropractor is not just to come in when you're sick or injured, but to come in to maintain your posture, to maintain all of your, bodily flow so that you're in synchronicity all the time. And they have got their patients to come in 55 times on average. And so if you think about how do you get consistent cash flow, number one is you make sure your lead generation systems are in place. Number two, you really understand that there's a process to convert people from a prospect to a customer. And then number three is you focus on your referrals, your repeat business, and you focus on upselling or downselling at the time somebody is buying. You don't wait a month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months. All of the research is showing us that the best time to ask somebody to buy more is when they're buying initially. Then the second best time is after they've consumed your product or used your service, and you ask for a referral and you ask them for a maintenance program or a repeat purchase of some kind where they're already happy and are willing to have you be their provider for the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5. And ultimately, when you think in this way, you're going to increase the lifetime value of your customer. And when you know that your customer is going to come in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times more, then guess what happens to your business? You now can afford to invest more to acquire the customer in the first place. And if you know anything about marketing and sales, it's the company who can afford to invest the most in customer acquisition that'll end up getting the customer. Because if you know that your customer is going to buy 1, 2, 3, or 4 times from you in the next year or 2 years or 3 years, you can afford to invest more to find them, whether it's using social media, through radio, through television, through networking, through brochures, through postcards, through a variety of different means. And so when you put all of this together into a sales process, now you're going to start building your business much faster, much easier, much more consistently than ever before. And when you tie all of it together with the right marketing message and the right sales process, you will start to build a business that will generate income every single month for you at a profit. And you'll start to generate more yearly revenues, which means that your business asset will be worth more, and you'll be able to either sell it or retire and live off of the cash flow. And ultimately, why are you doing what you're doing? Obviously because you love what you're doing, but to have a saleable asset or an asset that has the cash flow. That way you can take that money and live life on your own terms and have the freedom that business allows you to have when you do it right. If you've enjoyed this video and you really would like to get your business on the fast track to doubling or tripling in the next 6 to 12 months, I have an upcoming event called The Cloning of Business Success, where I'll teach you everything you need to know on the neuroscience of sales, the neuroscience of marketing, how to develop your perfect client profile, how to really take a marketing message and use it throughout all of your marketing and sales, how to develop a sales process, and everything else you need to really explode your business revenues. If that sounds like something you want to do right now, just below here there's a link that you can click on, and it'll have an application form. That'll trigger one of our success advisors calling you and making sure that you qualify for the event that we're doing, that we can really help you achieve a greater level of business success. Go ahead and click on the link, apply now, and I look forward to seeing you at our next Cloning of Business Success event.